Welcome everyone to the October 2021 meeting of the Southern Oregon Woodard Group. And we are very, very excited to have Allison from QBox joining us today. And we're recording this so that our members can catch the replay. And we've been having some interest from outside our group lately too. So whoever else is watching this on YouTube, thanks for joining us. And with that, Allison, we're really excited to hear about QBox. Feel free to take it away.
Perfect. So I'm going to share my screen here. So QBox was created by CoralTree. We allow you to share your QuickBooks files with your remote users. So instead of doing accountant's copies or sending backups back and forth, QBox allows you to share the company file with your remote users. Now, QBox is only sharing the company file, so each shared user needs to have the same year of QuickBooks installed on their computer. In my case, I'm using QuickBooks Pro 2021, so any of my users using 2021 can go ahead and open up any one of my shared company files. Now, the only time that it has to be the same year and the same version is if your client is using Enterprise. In that use case, the same QuickBooks rules apply, where on the other end, each user just has to have the same Enterprise subscription in that same year. Okay. So let's jump into the product. We're looking at my QBox Explorer, and the QBox Explorer is just a shortcut window to all of my folders and files I actually have in my account. My account is set up as if I were the accountant or bookkeeper. So you'll notice that each one of my clients has their own separate folder. And that's because sharing is done at the folder level. So on my client's end, they're going to have the same QBox Explorer, but they're only going to see their one specific folder. They have no knowledge of any of my other clients. Okay. So up at the top, you'll notice this local path. And this is where my files are stored locally on my PC. So I do want to emphasize that all users are always working locally from their own desktop. That is nice because you have that desktop environment. So you can print locally, backup locally. You're not relying on somebody else's internet connection. You're not taking over somebody's entire computer screen. And there's going to be no latency like when you click on something and then 2 seconds later that pop-up appears, right? So you have that environment. When it's time to work in any one of your company files, all you're going to do is just double click into that folder. And here's my local QuickBooks file. I'm just going to double click. And it's like initializing any other company file on my computer. So it's going to open up the QuickBooks application as well as that company file. So once I log in, the next prompt I'm going to see is a lock request. So QBox only allows one person to work in the company file at a time. And how we control that is with this locking mechanism. So here it asks us, do we want to lock the company file, which is essentially asking us, are we going to work? If we will work in the company file, we'll say yes. If we just wanted to go into the file as a read only, maybe run some reports or view historical information, we can say no, because we're not going to make any edits. Right now, I do have the intention to work, so I'm going to say yes, I want to lock it. And after I say yes, it gives me confirmation. Okay, give me 1 second while I close out of this guy. If I jump back to my QBox Explorer for just a second here, you'll see to the right of the file that I just opened, there's now a lock icon with my email address. So that's real-time information between you, your staff, and your clients. You're going to be able to see who's actively working in that company file. Now, like I said, QBox allows read-only users to always go into the file and view historical information. They're just not going to see any of the live real-time edits. Okay, so back on my end, it's a local copy of QuickBooks. I can do anything I normally do, edit the chart of accounts, adjust any journal entries. Once I'm done working and I want to sync the file and release the lock, all I have to do is close out of the company file. So that's file, close company, or if you're done working in QuickBooks for the day, just file and exit. Okay. Now QBox runs on a cycle. So in about a minute or so, it's going to realize that the file's been closed and it will automatically start the sync process for me. So in about 20 seconds or so, in this bottom green border, we're going to see a sync message as well as a %. That is my file syncing up just the incremental changes up to the cloud. Once it's in the cloud, the file becomes unlocked and it pushes my changes to all of my other shared users so that they have the exact same version of the file I just worked on. Okay. If for whatever reason your client or your staff's computer is turned off during the sync process, no problem. Once they do turn on their computer, QBox will ping the cloud to see if there's any changes. And if there are, they automatically push down to that user before they're able to lock it, right? So everybody's always in sync. So that's pretty much our sync process, and it just runs in the background. You can actually minimize your QBox Explorer, open up your email, start doing other things, and just let it run in the background. Okay. So let me go ahead and let me show you one other feature in QBox. So QBox folders have 10 gigabytes of capacity, and that allows you to share Microsoft Office in addition to multiple QuickBooks files if you have like a real estate client who have multiple QuickBooks files. Okay, so for one of my clients, I've created some subfolders, and in these subfolders, I have Word, PowerPoint, Excel files, multiple QuickBooks files, as well as a PDF or JPEG. So a PDF tax return or PDF bank statement, you can throw that into QBox and all of your shared users have access to those files. In addition, they also lock and sync. So if somebody locks an Excel file after they're done, it syncs over to the other remote users. Okay. So that's pretty much our QBox Explorer. And really, this is about 99% of your interaction happens right from your desktop level every day. But when you do sign up for an account, you get a login. And here is our web dashboard. Now, our web dashboard is essentially where you administer your account. So you'll notice that I have the same folders you saw on my desktop level. But like I said, the sharing is done at the folder level. So to the right of each one of my folders is a green share button. This is how I control who gets access to which one of my folders. So if I click this green share button, as the owner, it shows me who I'm actively sharing with. I can delete users or I can add additional users. Now, the best thing with QBox is we're not a per seat license, right? So you can invite as many people as you need or want to your QBox folder at no additional cost. So that's the 5 to 10 members you're sharing your company file, including your CPA, accountant, and whoever it may be, right? We also have user permissions. So a read-only will only be able to view the company file. They can't make any changes. And then an admin is allowed to make changes to the company file or create subfolders and delete subfolders. Okay. We do keep copies of your files in the cloud, and that does provide you with some additional benefits. The first is going to be if anything ever happens to your computer or maybe your client's computer, let's say their hard drive completely fails. All you have to do is go into your web dashboard. You're going to click admin in the upper right. And then to your left, you're going to see this download QBox client. Now that's not only going to put the QBox software back onto your PC, but it'll also download any latest versions of the files you have in the cloud. So you don't have to worry about finding your latest backup or thumb driving your files over. Anything in QBox will automatically sync for you. Okay. In addition to that, QBox offers versioning. So every time you lock and sync a file, it creates a new version in the cloud. QBox keeps the last 20 versions for you. So if something ever goes wrong in your company file, let's say you get a new employee, they go into the QuickBooks file, makes a bunch of changes you wish they hadn't. Instead of having to figure out specifically what they did and undo those, we have this self-service history button. If you select this history button, it shows you the last 20 versions. So at any time, you can select what version you want to roll back to, hit roll back. It's going to ask you, are you sure? Just because anything from this point forward is going to be erased, but that's okay. And so it'll automatically roll back down to my PC as well as all of my other shared users. So again, we're always on the same version. Now, the rollback feature is not an end all. So let's say you rolled back, but it doesn't have the changes you wish it had. You can always roll forward to today's date. So it's backwards or forward, whatever you may want. Okay. So that's pretty much our web dashboard. Again, this is where we administer our accounts. So we'll go ahead and we'll end on our pricing page. Now, our pricing is very straightforward. It's based on the number of folders in your account. If you are sharing externally with your clients, again, we do recommend a separate folder for each one of your clients, just so that your client on their end only sees their specific files. Each folder is $12 a month or $120 a year for that one sync folder. You can, again, invite as many users as you need or want to. Just again, keep in mind that we are only sharing the QuickBooks file. So each computer you install QBox on has to have QuickBooks installed if you'll be sharing a company file. You'll have 10 gigabytes of storage capacity. So that's multiple QuickBooks files in your folder, as well as Microsoft Office. And then you get unlimited support by phone, chat, and email. That's not only you as our subscriber, but that's any one of your clients. So here at Coral Tree, we have a saying, your clients are our clients. So anytime your clients have issues, they call us directly. We don't need any kind of authorization from you to talk to them. We go ahead and help them right then and there. And then as a new user, you'll get your first 30 days free. So we have a no credit card obligation sign up. After your 30 days, you can choose monthly or annually, and that's at the folder level. So if you have a client who's been a client since day one, you can do their annual, but if you onboard a new client for a temporary project, maybe a cleanup project, you can do monthly for that folder. Okay. Any questions?
I don't
have any off the top of my head.
Yeah, I don't know if I have so many questions. Wow, you went through that super quick and it was all really clear. I guess the main thing is not so much questions as I do have some experience with QBox in the past. I don't use QuickBooks Desktop with my clients anymore, but back when I did, I was a QBox user and had a lot of great experiences with y'all. And I really, really love how you streamline the cloud process for desktop users, eliminating the need for, sending around backups or accountants copies and never knowing like, oh boy, is the client going to open the file while I'm doing this thing? And next thing we know, somebody's going to get their work ruined. And, the number of times that happened to me before discovering QBox was extremely frustrating. And QBox relieved that pain. And then also the pricing is fantastic as far as other cloud solutions, not having to pay by single seat, having it be client folder by client folder, and just comparing it to other networking solutions. This is a perfect solution for small companies that only need one person in the books at a time.
Absolutely. Yep. They're going to save. We have so many people come from hosting environments because it's just too expensive. Nonprofits who are able to take turns working on the company file, this is the best solution for them, right? Because they don't have that kind of hosting money to just waste. And most of the time they don't need hosting. They're taking turns working in the company file. So absolutely. Yep.
Yay. Have you ever seen QBox before, Sade? Was this new for you?
It's new as far as the demo, but I did do some research on different cloud-based storage systems for desktop. But I currently don't have any desktop employees, desktop clients at the moment. So it's not so much beneficial to me. But I know plenty of people who do still use desktop, and the price point on it alone is a major sell point and an easy place for me to recommend, because I know that other people have. Especially when they're closing down companies and they, convert their files from online to desktop so that they're not paying the online fees anymore, but, they still need that file system for, the next 7 to 10 years. Yep. So, it's a really, really great resource.
Yeah. Well, and I know, so I'm not doing so much of the back end stuff anymore, but even recently, helping clients move from QuickBooks Desktop to QuickBooks Online, but there's a certain amount of cleanup that needs to happen in the desktop file, between now and then. The fact that you've got a monthly option, it's so worth it to just,
I agree,
pay the $12 for a month to do the cleanup. And we might not need it long term, but it's such a worthwhile investment and an easy solution. So thank you so much for having an easy solution that's a perfect fit for so many needs.
Yeah, we have I mean, our busy time is November to December, and they're just doing cleanup projects. And once they're done, they delete their folder so they're no longer billed, and they go either to online or they switch to tax mode prep, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that we don't, if you're not using it, don't use it, and just use it for what you're billed, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really smart, especially when doing like a conversion from, desktop to online or vice versa. It's nice to always have some sort of additional copy, especially when, I don't know, say a new bookkeeper or a new accountant, you just never know what you're going to get. So if you have something to build off of historically,
Yeah.
it's your saving grace. So it sounds like a really wonderful option.
Awesome.
Fantastic. Well, any other thoughts? It sounds like we kind of whipped through this demo real quick.
Yeah, no, you were very thorough. I really don't have any questions. It was very straightforward.
Awesome. That's what we like.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then I guess with that, I'll go ahead and stop the video and we can kind of move to the social part of our meeting. Da-da-dum. Stop recording.